This podcast was written and created by Avi Melamed, Middle East intelligence analyst and founder of the Inside the Middle East Institute. Today we're looking at, a very interesting analysis and insight provided by Avi Melamed, founder of ITME, the Inside the Middle East Institute. It has to do with an intriguing diplomatic incident.
It's a fascinating one. So what's the story?
A press conference between Turkey and Syria that gets cut off. And our mission here is to figure out why.
So you have Turkey's foreign minister, Hakan Fidan, on an official visit to Syria. He's in a joint press conference with his Syrian counterpart. Everything's going smoothly, you know. There's simultaneous translation happening from Turkish into Arabic.
Pretty standard stuff until it isn't.
Exactly. They get to the Q&A session, and a reporter asks the Turkish minister a question concerning the Palestinian issue, and that is the moment the press conference just cut off. A voice echoing during the press conference broadcast suddenly delivers a brief message announcing the end of the press conference. The camera focuses on the Turkish foreign minister, who is visibly taken aback.
What was the official excuse? I'm sure they had one.
Oh, of course. The Syrian Foreign Ministry later put out an apology claiming it was a technical failure in the translation system.
The technical failure, right? Nobody's buying that, are they?
Not for a second. Avi Melamed points to this being a completely intentional move. It was a calculated political message disguised as incompetence.
A message about what, though? What's the bigger picture here?
It all comes down to the huge power struggle for influence in Syria right now.
I see, so this has been going on since the Assad regime crisis began. Who are the main players?
It's primarily Turkey on one side and then the major Arab states on the other. We're talking mainly Saudi Arabia and the UAE.
And Syria is just caught in the middle.
Completely walking a very dangerous tightrope. And you have to remember this taps into some really deep historical tensions between Arab and Turkish civilizations.
And both sides have real leverage, don't they?
They do. Turkey is actively helping to rebuild the Syrian military. That's critical for Damascus's internal security.
But military security is one thing. Economic survival is another.
Precisely for that, Syria needs billions for reconstruction, and the primary hope for that financing comes from the Arab Gulf states.
So the Arab Gulf is holding the purse strings.
And they're being very deliberate about it. The financial aid they're giving right now is intentionally limited. It's a signal.
The signal being, we'll give you what you need, but you have to push Turkey's influence out.
Exactly. It's an impossible choice. Military survival depends on Turkey, but economic survival depends on the Gulf.
Which brings us all the way back to that press conference. Why that question? Why use the Palestinian issue as the pressure point?
Because the Palestinian cause has become this political currency in the region.
Turkish President Erdogan tries to position himself as the leader of the Sunni camp, right? And he uses his support for Hamas to score points against other Arab powers.
But those other powers, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, the UAE, they view Hamas and its parent movement, the Muslim Brotherhood, with extreme suspicion. They've designated the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organization.
So Turkey's pro-Hamas, the Arab camp is anti-Hamas. Where does Syria fall?
And this is the absolute key. This is the crucial insight from Avi Melamed's work. Syria has its own massive grievance with Hamas. In the early stage of the war in Syria, when it appeared that the Assad regime was on the verge of collapse, Hamas sided with the Syrian rebels. However, once it became clear that Assad and his allies, Iran and Russia, were crushing the uprising at the cost of immense bloodshed and destruction, Hamas changed course and shifted its support to the Assad regime.
The new leadership in Syria has not forgotten Hamas' betrayal.
Accordingly, in the context of Hamas, the new Syrian regime is signaling that it aligns itself with the Arab position, even at the cost of knowing that this may generate a certain degree of friction with Erdogan, who supports Hamas. The regime appears unconcerned by this, and rightly so, as it understands that for Erdogan, the Palestinian issue and his support for Hamas are largely instruments serving broader strategic interests. As such, the diplomatic incident is unlikely to have any real impact on the current state of relations between Syria and Turkey.
So cutting the feed wasn't a technical glitch. It was a message.
It was a perfectly timed, unmistakable message to Erdogan.
It's just incredible. This one diplomatic incident reveals this entire intense geopolitical chess game being played out.
It absolutely does. So, Syria is becoming a stage for a regional power struggle fueled by ancient rivalries, hegemonic ambitions, and the pursuit of diverse, often conflicting geostrategic interests.
In this context, Avi Melamed offers an insightful observation. The Middle East is a system built of interlinked chains. At times, the movement of one link radiates outward and influences another link far removed from it.
This podcast is made possible by supporters like you. ITME is an independent nonprofit institute committed to apolitical, intelligence-based Middle East education.
To learn more or to support our work, visit our website www.insidethemiddle-east.com.